Hello and welcome to another optics trade review. I have a red dot sight made by Holosun here today, the 507K X2, so the second generation of the 507K model. And in this short review, I'm going to talk about its characteristics. Holosun is a young company with headquarters in China. They're slowly becoming one of the most renowned and popular red dot sight manufacturers in the world. Their headquarters, as I said, are in China, and all of their products are made there. Nevertheless, they're of exceptional quality and can be compared with Japanese and European products. They're known to offer some innovative solutions in red dot sights, such as solar cells, also titanium housings. They have red dot sights with different colors of illumination in their offer: gold, green, red, and so on. They're also known for their confusing names with a lot of letters, a lot of numbers, and we at Optics Trade do our best to explain the meaning of these in our debates and reviews. If we go to the series, so the 507K series, this is now the second generation model. Both the first generation and the second generation models were released in 2020. This is a really interesting thing. And because of that, we've received a lot of questions from our customers as to why Holosun went from one generation to the other so quickly. Most first generation model owners were asking us whether there is something wrong with the first generation. It is not. We will explain everything. Let's just take a look at the changes that were made and to which parts of the red dot sight. If we take a look at the form factor, from afar you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the first and the second generation. The most notable difference has to do with the button placement and size. The first generation had bigger buttons. They were placed vertically, the use of which was really intuitive, and they were really easy to click because of their size. The plus button was on top and minus button was on bottom, and this was really easy to memorize. Now the newer models have smaller buttons placed horizontally, and we've received feedback from many customers that they prefer actually the first solution, so the solution on the first generation models. And I have to say that I share that opinion. I was wondering for quite some time why Holosun went from bigger handy buttons to the smaller ones and placed them horizontally as they are now. The same change occurred also with 407, 507C models, where the second generation V2 had bigger buttons, and then the third generation X2 models now have smaller horizontally placed buttons. I think that the only logical explanation lies in the situation between Reticle and Holosun. It is widely known that Reticle sued Holosun for patent infringement in 2020, and this is the only logical reason as to why they had to change the button pattern to how it was, to how it is now. Okay, so this is the changes that regard the buttons. Now we also have the button lockout mode that the first generation lacked, and this is practically the only welcome feature, handy feature that the second generation brings. As you know, now we have the manual mode and the button lockout mode. So we switch between these two modes by pressing the plus button. In the manual mode, you just set the desired setting, and then if you want to lock it, you hold the plus button for 3 seconds, you enter the button lockout mode, and in it you will not be able to change that setting. So even if, I don't know, you bump the sight against something or you click the buttons by accident, the setting won't change. This is really useful in hectic situation where a lot of movement is involved, such as IPSC competitions, where you can quickly hit it against something. And if you do, you don't have to worry if you're in button lockout mode, it won't change. A really welcome change, and basically the only welcome one that the second generation brings. And this is basically everything as regards the changes. So we only have the button placement and the button size change, and then the presence of the lockout mode. The other stuff is pretty much the same as on the first generation models. This one belongs to the Reflex series, as I said. This is one of the most popular series made by Holosun. quite a novelty still. It was introduced in 2020, and these were really selling like hotcakes. Many people were looking forward to these being released, and they're still highly popular on the market. They're among the smallest reflex red dot sights currently manufactured. The size is comparable to shield sights. They measure 40 millimeters in length and around 24 millimeters in width and height. At 28 grams, they are twice as heavy as shield SMS, for example. Even though they are heavier than shield SMS, they are, I would say, a little bit more durable and robust, and this is something that you have to sacrifice and then gain in weight. The housing is made of quality CNC milled 7075 aluminum alloy. It is completely waterproof. The form factor makes it perfect for a pistol. Some might argue that the frame is a little bit too thick. It takes away some field of view. But again, this adds to the robustness, and Holosun sights are known for it. What about the footprint? A lot of questions regarding the footprint when it comes to these sights, and I have to take 2 minutes or 3 explaining what this footprint actually is. So it's a modification of the Shield RMS and SMS footprints. Here I have an adapter for the Shield footprint, and with it I'll try to explain what modifications have to be made to it in order for it to fit on the Holosun sight. If you take a look and compare this to a Shield footprint, if you've seen it before perhaps, you will notice that the 2 sockets in the back are missing. And this already calls for a modification of the adapter. We have a problem with these pins here. If we try to put it on, you'll see that it doesn't fit perfectly. There is air in between, and this is because these sockets, these pins, have nowhere to go. So what modifications do you have to make? The rear pins here on the adapter have to be removed completely, and the front ones also have to be shortened in height. They have to be filed down a bit in order for this adapter to fit on the Holosun 507K X2 sights. Some pistols, which are optic ready for red dot sights with a Shield footprint, will also have to be modified. We have Sig Sauer 365 XL, which is optic ready for Shield RMSC. It doesn't come with rear recoil locks, so it will fit perfectly. But some other pistols, such as Hellcat and Walther PPS, will have to be slightly modified. Again, the rear indexing lugs have to be removed, and the front indexing lugs have to be shortened in height for the 507K X2 to fit on the pistol. Once such pistols are modified for those footprints on the Holosun sights here, you will still be able to use RMSC or any other sight that uses the standard Shield footprint. It sounds simple, but I have no idea why Holosun chose to go with a modification of the Shield footprint, and I understand that some shooters don't want to modify their pistol. It would really be a whole lot easier if Holosun used the same footprint, but I guess it is how it is now. So you'll just have to make modifications on certain pistols and on the adapters if you wish to have this sight mounted on your firearm. Well, there are some additional screws sets here that you receive. Screws are also typically supplied with the adapter, so you can simply check which screws fit the combination of the sight and the adapter best, and which ones fit, once of course the sight has been modified. It is designed for a low profile use. The bottom part of the lens sits just slightly above the upper part of the pistol. The dimensions of the window are 20 millimeters in width and 15 millimeters in height. A Picatinny adapter is not supplied, so this is only it's made by Shield. The Picatinny adapter is not supplied as with other Holosun red dots, which further implies that it is meant to be used on a pistol. We have the elevation and windage adjustment screws, which are rotated with the help of this supply tool here. You can hear them clicking, so the clicks are quite crisp. You don't need a scale or any additional tools since these screws produce clicks when rotated. One click equals 1 MOA, which is around 1.5 centimeters at 50 meters. And the direction of the point of impact movement is displayed next to the screw. Even though the side is really small, Holosun managed to squeeze in the battery compartment on the side. Naturally, there is no space for the CR2032 battery, so Holosun had to go with a smaller CR1632, which you access by unscrewing this screw here and then prying open the tray with the help of this part here. If the battery dies, you won't have to remove the sight from the firearm and re-zero it because it's located on the side. Holosun claims that a single battery should be enough for 50,000 hours of use at a mid setting for the dot reticle. The rear part, as you can see, is of a really distinctive shape. As this sight is designed for a pistol, the rear part acts as a rear sight when mounted. When mounting a red dot sight on a pistol, a rear sight is often lost, and if the battery dies, you have no backup. Now, Holosun came with a solution here with the 407 507K models. If the battery fails, you'll still be able to shoot since the co-witnessing capabilities aren't lost when you mount this one on the pistol. I would like to use this moment to quickly explain the differences between the 407 and 507K models. Well, the 407 has a central dot only and it is 6 MOA in size, whereas on the 507 you have switchable reticle, you have 2 MOA dot, circle dot and a 32 MOA circle only. So we have 3 reticles at disposal. The reticle can be clearly seen and it doesn't produce a star effect on me. If you wish, it doesn't produce a star effect for me because I do not have astigmatism. If it does for you, you should check out Holosun models with different illumination, green and gold. At the end of this video, I will try to show the illumination, the definition of the dot as accurately as it is possible over the camera. So you can just stick around or get to that point of the video if you wish to know, to see the illumination of this device. For now, only the red illumination is available with these models, but I'm pretty sure that green and gold models will also follow because this was the case with other series in Holosun's offer. This sight has 12 illumination intensity settings. The lowest 2 are night vision device compatible. The highest settings are suitable for strong daytime brightness. So you can basically use this sight in all ambient conditions, in dusk, throughout the day, in the morning and so on, even inside. It has a shake awake function. The timer can be set to 10 minutes, 1 hour, 12 hours or disabled. If you have it turned on and you leave the battery, so you leave the illumination on when you put it down, it will take the desired amount of time. So the time set, you can set it, as I said, to 10 minutes, 1 hour or 12 hours. After that time is up, the dot will power off to preserve battery life, and then when you move it, it will power back on in an instant and be ready to use. As I said, you can disable this feature, but it's really useful to have it on as you preserve the battery life greatly. We all know that many of us sometimes forgot to turn off the battery and then it just depletes sooner than we want it to. So we have 1 times magnification, easy to use with both eyes open. Some blue tint can be observed on the sides, especially when it is aimed towards a white background, but nothing major. There are 5 years of warranty on the material, 3 years on the electronics. The price is around 400 euros, which is around 80 euros more expensive than 407K. And with the sight, you get naturally this handy tool for windage and elevation adjustments, for opening the battery compartment and fixing the optic to the firearm or to the adapter. 2 sets of screws. You get a lens cloth. You get a booklet with handy instructions on how to install the battery, how to zero the sight, how to switch between modes, switch between different reticles, so on, how to set the shake awake function, why the lens is tilted. Many people still ask why the lens is tilted on their sights, and they often think that it's an error, but actually it's not. This is the only way for the beam emitted by the diode to reflect from the lens back to the user's eye, regardless of the eye's position. And it is crucial for the device to have a tilted lens for it to function properly. It is definitely not an error. As I mentioned, so we have manual and lockout modes. I already talked about these. And this is basically it as regards the features of this sight. I want to now take a moment to go through the good and the bad stuff. I would say that I like the size of this device. I like that the battery compartment is on the sides. I like that the adjustment screws are clicking. The integrated rear sight, the definition of the dot, the 12 illumination intensity settings. So and brand new button lockout mode is really useful to have, especially if you move a lot while shooting and can potentially hit it against something to change the illumination adjustment setting. With button lockout mode, you prevent that, of course. What I don't like is its footprint. I don't like that it's a modification of the shield footprint. Some shooters will definitely be skeptical about modifying their firearm to suit this sight. Even though Holosun promises it's a simple procedure, it is a hassle after all, and it would be much better if this sight would use a completely same shield footprint. It would make life easier for most users of this sight. I definitely like the button placement and size on the previous generation much more than I do on this one. And some shooters might argue that the size of the frame, I mean the thickness of the frame, is, I would say that some other sights do have I would say thinner windows, and for me this isn't that much of a deal, but okay, some might point out that the frame is too thick. Then also some blue tint in the corners, although nothing major. And that's basically it. So if you are a pistol user, you should definitely you shouldn't overlook 407 507K sights, as they are currently the best choice for a pistol in Holosun's offer. They're small, compact, durable, and they're definitely packed with features and come at a really affordable price for everything that they offer. Thank you for watching. If you found this review useful, leave a like, subscribe. If you have any questions about the product, drop them below in the comment section. Check out our other videos on Holosun products. And take care. See you next time. Goodbye.